Hi, this is Maurice, Benard, and Anna Damergis. Welcome to the Maurice and Anna Show. Okay, here we are again.
Story of my life.
On the Maurice and Anna Show. And we have a special guest, and when I say special, I'm talking very, very special. He was actually on 2 soap operas that I was on. He was incredibly popular on All My Children, still popular on General Hospital. He can act, he can host, he can okay, look, I'm going to just say it right here. This is how we're going to start this one. He has probably the most perfect body that I've seen. Now, Steve Burton is my friend, and he has a great body. but he's just a little kind of too big and kind of blocky. Where you know,
wow.
Cameron Mathison, his body's lean, and I'm not just saying this because, you know, it's just
like
but
love going on.
No.
Going on.
No.
That's good. This is good.
No, I'm being honest right now because the kind of body that Cameron has is better for TV and film because he's lean. He doesn't look right.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, brother.
He's just lean, and that looks great.
For an old guy, I'm hanging in there, man. I'm hanging in.
Cameron Mathison, there he is. Look at him.
Well, thank you guys. Hi, Anna. Hi, Mo. How you doing, brother?
You know.
Yeah. Thanks for that intro. That makes me feel. Here's the deal. I want to follow that out. This is where we're starting. I guess, you know, all this talk about aesthetics, but I played college basketball in Canada. You know, in Canada, like Division II.
Canadian.
And my nickname on that team, speaking of like being in shape or whatever, my nickname on that team was Grover, because Grover from Sesame Street has a pot belly and skinny arms and skinny legs. So my nickname when I played basketball, you know, competitively, was Grover, because I was kind of out of shape. I wasn't aesthetic.
Wow. What year?
So I worked. So to hear that at my age, a little bit, that makes me feel good because I worked really hard. You know what I mean? Like it's an effort.
Okay. Hold on, Cameron.
Yeah.
When were you out of shape?
My whole life. I mean, my whole young life. So I wasn't here's the deal: is I wasn't out of shape. I was athletic, but as far as like aesthetics, because by the way, the most I was, you know, quote unquote, in shape aesthetically, like just physique wise, I was actually in horrible shape. I was doing a lot of like bad stuff. I was taking a lot of supplements that are now illegal, like things like like, you know what I mean? So just because somebody looks one way, doesn't necessarily.
I get you.
So when I looked out of shape, I was in decent shape. I was playing college basketball. I was running around. I was doing all that. But then I got into really kind of buff shape, and I honestly, I was super unhealthy. I'll say it like that. I was super unhealthy. Now I'm way, way, way more concerned about longevity and fitness and health, and a nice kind of, I guess, you know, backdoor effect of that is that, you know, I'm physically in pretty good shape too, but most importantly, I feel really healthy.
That's good.
But what does it take to maintain, you know, because I know you don't have my arm.
No, I don't, man. I don't.
You know, and that's a whole other.
I don't.
That's a whole other.
He does that like randomly.
That's
you know,
my triceps. You don't want any part of my triceps.
No, they're not small. Those are
right. They're big.
Yeah,
and that's pretty much all. So,
oh boy.
What I'm saying is, what does it take to maintain your body right now?
Like people ask that. Listen, there's people that are in shape out there, and I'm not trying to say that I know everything about being in shape, but what I need to do is we could spend the whole show talking like
wow.
Sleep. There's a lot of stress. I do hormone testing. I do blood work. I do gut testing. I take tons of supplements. I measure my macros. I lift weights. I have a health coach in Florida that I send weekly updated photos, front, back, profile. Like wow. it's a real, it's a real effort, man. Like it's It's a commitment, but remember, this all started after this real effort started after my cancer journey.
I know that,
it was
yeah.
motivated largely by health and longevity, and of course, being on TV, I worry about what I look like too. But it started after my cancer stroke.
Well, before the cancer, you didn't go to this extreme.
Not even close.
Okay, because
close.
I should be checking, because I've been taking lithium for 30 years.
Yeah.
Over 30 years.
Yeah.
And I do a blood test, but I should. Yeah. Somebody wrote.
How often though?
Once every 6 months, try to, right? But somebody just wrote me, because I get these quite a lot, where they said, whatever, mental health and this and this and this and that. My son just died of a kidney.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I mean, that's obviously like unimaginable, and maybe preventable if there was testing. You never know. Of course, as my cancer was totally because I asked to get checked up because of my blood work and because I was so on top of it, whatever. I caught it early. Otherwise, it would have been for sure fatal. However, it's always good to check, man.
Yeah.
Blood work is good, but there's a lot, blood work is so vague. What I would recommend, because I'm now the authority, I would recommend a really in-depth hormone test. Check all of your cortisol levels, your testosterone levels, your estrogen levels. There's tons of your serotonin, your dopamine levels, all of these things, adrenals, all that, how it all flushes out. And I would recommend also other, an elaborate blood work, and then also gut testing. And then with that, and then maybe if those are coming back fine, then you're done. But if there's other things, then you can also do toxin tests, because there's a lot of toxins in the air, and
mercury
for certain people with kidney and liver issues, and then also mold, parasite tests, stuff like that, because people don't realize how much that affects our health too. You could be doing everything right, but then you've been exposed to mold 30 years ago, and you don't realize that it's messing you up big time. So there's a lot of different elements now, and so I do all of that, and I'm on top of all of that. I really work hard at it. So thanks for pointing it out.
Of course, I'm going to point it out, because Steve's too big.
Yeah, well,
and I don't like when he's that big.
Well, I'm not going to tell him that to his face.
Is that intimidating? What is it?
You can tell him. I'll leave that to. I'll tell you. You can check. You can tell him that.
Oh man!
What kind of guy do you like? All right. So now, no.
No, we gotta know.
We're on the. We're
What do you mean?
We're physically, aesthetically. Obviously,
Listen.
you want someone that's kind and generous.
I told you kind, right?
And funny, but
Yes.
body type.
Listen. The truth.
Steve or Cam? Go ahead. No. Shh.
The truth of the matter is, I am attracted to energy.
Okay.
And I don't have a type.
Okay.
Because if you look at the past, you'll see none of them look alike. I would say you would agree, right?
They're all
Because
weird. No, I mean, they're all different.
They're all different, right?
Yeah.
And I'm attracted to energy, and kindness goes a very long way.
Yeah. That's
Honestly,
important.
I need somebody who's kind. I have an 8-year-old son.
Yeah, beautiful.
Right?
What's his name?
Andrew.
Andrew.
Yes. And I like family type of people that think family is important. I look to see if people men have long-term friendships in their life, because I think that says a lot about them if they know how to solidity relationships.
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
I love
Right,
honesty.
if they're jumping from friend group to friend group, it's
Right.
that's a bit of a red flag. Okay.
Right. I'm an extremely social person, so that's
Going out a lot, going out to dinners,
Yes,
parties, things
I
like
love
that.
all
You like hosting at your place?
I love all of it. I love it.
Yeah.
I think the more
hard
the
for me.
merrier.
I don't like that. I don't like
That's
that.
hard for me. Yeah, I'm working on it.
The more the merrier.
Yeah.
I just.
She goes out.
What do I do? What do I do?
No, you like to go
What do I
out. You
do?
like to be. You do that.
I'm
Yeah.
Anna. What do I do?
Oh,
What
this
do
is
I
Anna
do?
going out.
Really?
That's what she looks
oh,
like when
really?
she's out.
Oh, don't even let him start. You ask me out to dinner more than anybody I know.
But it's not like for like a gathering or
no,
something.
we like
It's-
have our meetings.
But you like
Nice.
to you like
So how long have you two known each other? I should probably know this.
how long?
Oh, I don't know, like 3 years, 4 years, something.
I have no because I don't
We
know.
live next door to each other,
Okay.
so he makes me coffee in the morning.
Oh my gosh, that's so sweet.
Sometimes.
She's making it up. I don't make coffee, bro. One time
bullet coffee.
I
Yes, he does.
made her
He does. It was
bulletproof
really
coffee.
good.
One time.
I think that's the best thing he knows how to do.
But that's amazing. So let's just say it was one time for a second. So from the outsider. So let's just say it was one time. And one time, and then he makes me coffee. That's what's so scary.
That was
you
weird.
do something one time, and it becomes a thing.
Right.
Oh my God, he's the guy
Right.
who does, because
But Cameron-
is it more than one time?
Cameron, I call her
Twice.
on that. I can't. I call her on it.
It was twice.
It was once at my house.
Mind, he makes it every morning.
Yeah.
And puts it
That's
on
what I
my
mean.
counter, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like if I
But if
forget
somebody's
something
just
or-
watching this, they think that I come to you. Hey, you want some more coffee?
Yeah.
Here's the coffee every morning.
But it's not a bad thing to have going on. Like if there was a rumor out there that I was making coffee for my neighbor every day, I mean, like, great, that's fine.
I
with
do
me.
a lot of stuff for you, though.
But who said you didn't?
No. What do you do
See,
for
he
him? What do you
did it. He
tell me
did-
what you do for him?
Oh my God, I'm his live-in therapist practically.
No,
If the
she's cool.
walls were adjoining.
Yeah.
I'm just
But what
saying.
Cameron doesn't know is
Into the house. He doesn't knock.
What if
He
you're
walks
walking around in your underwear?
no. I don't. I usually
He looks
not.
in the window first.
I do look in the window.
Well, that's
yeah.
creepy. Like that's creepy. So now
No.
we're talking like that's
But she's
concerning.
my wife's great friend. So you
I
can't.
am.
I know.
You know. But the first show. This is why we did this show. Let me tell you why we did this show, Cameron.
Yeah.
Well, we should probably do it after the. But I'll tell you in a second why we did this show.
Oh yeah, right.
What else?
What do you mean? What else?
Ask
Well, yeah, what else do you do
Cameron.
from? So,
what
so,
else
yeah,
do I do for him?
yeah. You got
I have to listen to him. Isn't that enough?
You got to listen to him.
Right. I have to take him
That's
places.
nice. That's really nice. By
I-
the way, that's a generous thing. Listening and
No, it
listening
is.
there.
It's
And you take him
very-
places. Well,
I
he
do.
doesn't know how to drive.
No, he
No.
does not know how to drive.
see.
I drive him to events.
concerning, too.
I am his personal videographer and photographer.
No, she did good. Yeah.
Oh,
I
good.
create content for him. Did you know
Okay,
that,
yeah.
Cameron?
Well, then I've heard about you in that
Right,
way because we've
right.
talked a lot about that.
Yeah, I did a tour just recently, and she did some great, put some
Right.
great videos.
He thought I was going to go.
Are you
along.
available for hire? Like, I got a show coming up that I need someone to follow me around on.
Listen, everything's
You're
negotiable
too
in life.
expensive. You're too expensive.
Yeah, she's.
You have to go through my agent, which is Paula. So you'll have to.
Yeah,
You know.
I know.
Okay, so Cameron,
Yeah.
can I tell you how this whole thing started here?
Yeah. Well, first I got a question for you, real quick, and then we'll get
Yeah.
into that. Why isn't it not the Anna and Maurice show?
She tried that, and I said that ain't working.
No. Okay. Good. I
You
was just
gotta,
curious.
you gotta know what sells your shoes. You know who sells
Oh.
the shoes.
Okay. All
And
right.
then she goes, "Oh yeah, they made a mistake." Okay.
Okay.
So
Anyway, we'll move on because it's feeling a little awkward now in the room. So, how are you going to start this?
I
segment?
would
So what
never
ha-
think for my name to come first.
No, but here's what I want.
I know.
You seem you're very generous and
Here's what I want Anna to know.
I'm an Aquarius. I'm a
Anna.
humanitarian. I don't know about the Pisces in the room.
Anna,
No, I'm
there
gonna pick
could
one.
look it. Here's the
What is your
deal. Here's the
I'm a
deal.
Virgo.
Ooh,
Here's the
tough
deal.
crowd.
Here's
Am I?
here's the deal. If this thing goes on and it becomes successful, and then
When it becomes successful.
when it does, and they say they want Anna, only Anna, I'll be the little co-star in the back. I don't care. I really don't.
No, I wouldn't do it without you.
No, I would do it, but you're gonna. You
Yeah, he's not stepping down. I didn't hear him stepping down. I didn't hear him taking out. I didn't hear him taking off. I just heard him like taking. I just heard you guys switching seats. That's all.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I thought he was like, I'm out.
That's true. I would. You could sit here, then you sit there.
I didn't hear that.
So here's what happened, Cam.
Tell me.
She, I think I brought up that I should interview her dates, right?
Nice.
That would be fun to shoot that as.
So do you date a lot? Is that the
I
idea?
don't.
No, she doesn't.
Okay.
But then one night she had a date.
Great.
So I said, let's film it. Call it. It was her. You said the title. What was it?
So we created a show idea called The Celebrity Date Crash.
Right. So
So he would
I took.
attend.
That's funny.
We filmed her. She has it, or I have it, where we filmed us going to her date. I was gonna meet the dude. So in the process of that date, he calls, and I got the camera here and going to here, and he's like, "Hi, what's your favorite color?" And I'm like, "What?"
He's a very sweet guy.
And then
Sweet.
and Anna says, "Well, it's for the flowers." I said, "Oh my God, flowers!" So I ended up
He's
meeting.
asking you this.
Yeah.
And you're overhearing.
Yes. So I meet the
Poor
dude.
guy. Does he know you're overhearing? That's
No, he doesn't know.
I'm sorry, dude. Whatever your name is, bro. What's his name?
No.
No, I'm sorry, man. That's not. I mean,
But later we
Date
told
number
him.
one.
Okay. So I meet the guy and he's like 19. And he's like, but he's sweet.
You like younger guys?
No, I don't. Actually, I don't like younger guys, but I always get asked out by younger guys because they don't think
you
that
look very young.
I'm not. I'm probably the similar age as this room right here.
Situation. So the guy.
I think you know how old we are, but okay.
I kind of do.
Well, I'm the old guy. So he's nice, but it didn't
He
work.
was 30.
It didn't work out.
Okay.
So then,
But that's really sweet. He brought you flowers?
Yes.
What color?
Pink.
Oh, that's really sweet. That's really nice.
Oh, very
so
sweet.
then
Apparently,
he.
I'm not very romantic. Apparently, I got to work on that in my life.
So we
Hey.
were gonna do a show
give you cues.
called the Celebrity Date Crasher, and we'll see what happens. She says it's
That
gonna,
sounds fun. The problem is like, what if the guy freaks out? Like, did he know he was being on the show?
That's kind of
Did he know he was a guest on the show?
Yeah, he saw the camera eventually.
yeah. Obviously you gotta sign stuff and all that. But anyway,
Okay.
so then
all right.
you
But yeah,
thought
it's
of
fun-
this
fun
show.
Concept.
Right.
So you thought of this show.
Right.
That's how it started.
Right.
And then we did this show.
Well, we had meaningful conversations in my living room, right?
I thought
And
that.
we have a great banter. With
No, I know.
brother, sister type of stuff. And then the opportunity came along, and I said, "Do you want to do this?"
Anna, can I
Exactly.
just say something? It
Sure.
seems like you have different memories of, like, different perspectives on what happened. Like, all I'm
wait,
saying is
obviously
your
not,
meaningful
'cause we're
conversation. It was like Mo was like, yeah, no, yeah. I mean, sure, I think so. Like, that's what.
I don't know if they were meaningful, but they were conversations. And then you did have somebody to pitch the show. Pitch the show, and I figured the first 6 we did, I figured would fly
Right.
because we have a certain thing. And then
Well,
it
you're
worked
still
out.
talking
Now
to
we
me.
have big star.
Yeah.
Cameron
When's it getting
Mathison.
here? Oh, okay. Yeah, me. Yep.
Cameron's there now for sure. It's going to
Wow,
get successful.
I'm excited. See, who else you got in your roster? Let's dig them up.
Let's do State of Mind first.
Listen, the deal is just shoot a whole bunch, and then when you you edit them all up.
Yeah.
You'll be like, oh, well, Cameron's on the cutting room
No,
floor.
that would
And
never
then
happen.
we got Steve, and because he.
No, but don't let him fool you because
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people, and he'll send me, I need to have this person, and I need that person,
Mm-hmm.
and what can you do about this person, right? We have a hit list.
That's how we do it. Yeah.
That's great.
Like I knew Cameron would be great here.
Right.
I haven't asked any other
No,
actor.
you haven't.
So
See that?
it's gonna be a trip when I get back to work at this.
Better start tap dancing fast.
You're gonna,
Yeah.
you know.
No, yeah. Better not say anything either. Everybody will get all.
I've learned my lesson not to say anything, but I'm putting this out on Instagram on Saturday, so they're gonna know that you did something for me. So
Have you been on the set of General Hospital when Maurice is working? No. It's a really
I'm scared.
no. You don't have to be scared. The
I
thing
heard
is,
some stories though.
it's an amazing thing. The energy, like when Mo's on the set, and it's very, very, very like well earned and understandable.
yeah.
When Mo's on the set, it's a big deal. Like the energy shifts, and it's like obviously everybody that watches the show knows that Sonny is the guy, the man, and we all know how
Icon.
Sonny is. Popular.
Icon.
But it's a really interesting thing. Like if I'm up on set and we got blocking, we get thing, and we all see each other. Sometimes we cross paths or whatever, and then Maurice walks by. Like it's people stop,
I bet they
and they're like it's.
But
how does that feel for you? Like, are you aware of that? Are you aware? And I don't want to make it bigger in your head than it has to be because that's
no, you have to see, Cameron. The thing is, like, I always have this conversation because you didn't know me
No, I didn't.
10 years. You know,
No, I didn't.
you think the energy's different. I mean, I felt it back then, but I almost felt it in a dark, ugly way.
Oh, well, I shouldn't be laughing. I didn't know that.
No. Then now I'm fucking. I'm relaxed.
No. But it's true.
And if I'm more fun,
maybe it's residual from that time
Where people-
like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
there was an actress on Oh, I'll just say Susan Lucci, was a big star. She was a very big star in All My Children, and lovely woman, and a dear friend of mine. Her family, I was very, very close with her and her family and her kids and everything. But when Susan was on set, you just, there was an energy about it. There was like an aura about it, and it's the same. It's the same but different at GH, because the whole energy at GH is different than All My Children anyway. There's an intensity, but there's a lot of good actors. Like, it's just a really intense show.
Yeah, but
in a great way.
Yeah, when I did All My Children, I was just scared all the time because I was nervous. It's my first job.
Yeah.
So,
imagine that being your first job. Here's 40 pages of dialogue a day.
Wow.
I know you've never acted before on a show. Go. Like, what?
But Cameron, the difference between now and my whole career, honestly, no lie, skills have always been there. Relaxation.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Isn't that interesting?
I am so relaxed now.
Yeah.
That, you know what they say about a baseball player who, like Barry Bonds, who's seeing the ball like it's a basketball.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's
slowly.
when
he sees it so much more like it's almost slow motion because he's just so chilled, so relaxed.
Right. That's where I'm at now. Even when I had COVID, came back to work, 80 scenes, I did get hypnosis, but we'll get into that later.
You hear about that?
I think you told me about that.
Yeah, I told you about that. Just relaxed. And when you're relaxed, everything just comes.
Yeah.
You don't have to, even before, there was always just, it was more like an animal. I was more like an animal, and I had to.
And what was the difficult part of that? Like, what was the hard part of being sort of tense and animalistic like that? Was it harder for you to, like, are you saying it was harder for you to get through the dialogue? Was it harder for you to remember? It was harder for you to perform as well as you'd like? What was it? Now that you're relaxed, it opens up everything.
That's a great question. That's a great question. The difference was that in the past, I would use the darkness and the chaos in my gut to be sunny. So that worked.
Yeah.
But I was always in my head. Not, I was not
just,
yeah, but I could still do it.
Of course you could.
Where now, I'm not in my head. I'm in the moment. I'm just like,
place to be.
And I can, it's just
for those that have you've acted,
yes.
Yeah. So and for those that have tried, like the last thing you want to do is be thinking about your acting. Like the last thing you want to do is be in your head. Like what Mo's saying is to be relaxed and be authentic and genuine, be just listening and reacting and not like
being.
Yeah. And it's amazing that you could do the work that you did while still being very very aware.
Exactly.
But that's
and not only that. All the stuff that I went through, mental illness.
Sure, of course. Yeah.
She's the one who brings that up. Like, how, because to me, I was asked this question, how brave to be able to be, I didn't think of being brave when I was young. I just did it. It was very difficult. Then I'd have a nervous breakdown, or I'd have an anxiety attack, or I'd be depressed. But I would just do it. But now that it's been so long, I can sit back and go, damn, how did I do that? That stuff's not easy, man.
Yeah.
Playing this character who's bipolar, I'm bipolar, having to do 50
up in front of 40 people, like everybody's staring at you.
Exactly.
You got cameras, you got the time.
Right.
You got to knock it out.
Pressure.
You got to make sure you get in 1 or 2 takes.
Yeah.
Let's go, and it's got to be authentic to you because it's so true, and it's part of who you. Like there's a lot of pressure.
Being
there.
mentally ill.
Yeah, you just did it.
I continue to, but I think now being relaxed helps me out a lot.
And you've sustained it for so long.
Yeah, a long time, yeah.
Not just did it, you sustained it successfully.
You okay
So-
there?
I'm
you
good.
Put your shirt back on.
No, because my arm was so big that it didn't.
Yeah. How do you find shirts to fit the tricep combo?
Accommodate
Well,
the area, right?
Yeah. Should we move the monitor so Maurice can't see himself? Would that be helpful? So that
Wow.
You see, that was like Arnold Schwarzenegger, that pose. Yeah.
I remember one
no,
time.
your arms are good for you. Sorry, I interrupted.
that's okay.
I
No,
interrupted.
that's all right. I remember one time you looked at this guy's arms and you were like, "Yeah, you should date him because he's got good arms."
Oh,
It's like that's what
I know. You
comes
know.
down to.
Cameron, do you know that the truth is that men care about bodies more about men's bodies than women do?
Yeah, like in other words,
Yep, that's right.
like when I asked you what like male sort of body type you're interested, you didn't even like. You're like I don't even know. Like,
When I
you just
show
care about.
when
I'm not looking to. I would like to be attracted to somebody.
Sure.
But it's usually an energetic thing.
Right, like when I show my arms to girl actresses at work, they don't care. They're like, but when I show men and men are like, yeah, look at mine, look at
man, look at the right. What do you do? I have biceps. How do you split up your workout days? You know what I mean? We got all into the weirdness, and nobody cares. That's the irony of it all. That is the irony of it all.
Can we talk about dating?
We can talk about whatever you want.
So, yeah, how's it going? First of all,
How's it going?
Yeah,
It's going.
yeah. How are you meeting your dates?
I do not
Apps?
no.
None ever.
I have.
Okay.
I deleted them all.
You did
I did.
because it was just a hookup
just
thing,
a bunch of lunatics,
just trying to have sex.
mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I actually met 2 people that I'm friends with still. They were decent people. Have you ever met somebody and like you think you're going to be set up with them and then you're like, we're just going to be friends because I don't think we should date just because of whatever reason. Like I have a couple of people that I'm friends with like that.
I think so. It's been a
Right.
while. It's been a minute for me, but yeah, I think so.
But does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes or no?
It does make sense.
Like
for
I
sure.
have one guy that I'm friends with. I met him on an app. He contacted me. We live near each other. We met right away. We both had similar interests and stuff like that. And he's like, "You're just too nice. We're gonna be friends."
So he said, "You're just too nice.
Yes.
You're just too nice."
Yes.
So that's a red flag for me.
Okay.
Like,
Right.
no, I mean,
well,
so you were too kind,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, "I don't like people that are too kind."
right, because he was just looking for a hookup.
Oh, well, that's a different way to say it.
Well, he
That's
just
not what I
said you're
heard.
Right, I know, but he just said it that way.
Yeah, he
You're
said it
too
that
nice.
way. You're too
He's
nice.
Like you're too nice. Like I wouldn't want to do that to you, and I was like, you won't. Don't worry, that won't happen.
Yeah, that won't happen
And we'll-
because I get a say in this too.
Right,
Yeah.
right, and we're friends.
Okay, well that's nice.
Yeah.
I'm glad this because
Right.
he's a good guy.
Right.
But he just wants to go out and
Right,
hook up with
right.
people.
He like, right.
Okay. Well, by the way,
Yes.
congratulations for being too kind.
Thank
for
you.
being too nice. No, but really, like in a world where we all need a little bit more kindness, and you know what I mean. And
I agree.
Yeah, way to go.
Nobody owes you anything.
So,
That's what I tell my son. Be kind.
What do you when you say when you're out on a date with a guy and you know how quickly do you know?
I won't even go on the date if I don't think there's a chance.
Okay, so you talk on the phone, you do FaceTime. What
well,
do
if you meet,
You meet.
in person.
I see.
By happenstance or whatever it is, like an event or through somebody.
Right. And what are some no-goes? Like what are some like immediate, not red flags, I mean like deal
Somebody
killers.
you can't be married. That would be one.
Yeah.
Well, of course.
So if somebody comes to you and says, "Listen, I have an open marriage.
Yes, they do. They do.
Welcome to
And
Los
don't-
Angeles."
Yes. Okay.
You're not going to go out with an open marriage, dude.
No.
No, don't do it.
I would never. That's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
they do that. That's what
Sure.
I'm saying. It
And
happens.
you know what?
all
We
the
shouldn't have
time.
judgments. It's a different
I'm
dynamic for
just
different people.
Not into it.
You're not into it. For
I
you,
don't
that's
need
fine.
some lunatic coming after
Yeah.
me like an ex-wife or a current wife
Right,
or
right. Because
any
you never
type of
know if
wife.
both parties are
Right.
like agreeing
no,
on this
I've
open
been
marriage.
told that before. Like, oh, we have an arrangement. Well, that's nice for you.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
not for me.
Right, good.
Yeah,
So that's
I'm not
an
gonna do
immediate
that.
deal killer.
Deal killer.
Other deal killers.
You need to have a job.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can't be unemployed.
No, cannot be unemployed.
Okay.
And you just have to be nice.
Yeah, and you have to be nice. So if you're a jerk, if you're not, you're an ass or something. Yeah, you're out. Yeah, well that's not unreasonable.
No,
Those are reasons.
I
Now,
like
what are-
communication. I like clear communication.
Okay, so now we're getting into the red
helpful.
flag territory.
Oh,
Wouldn't
wow.
you say, Mo? Like now so those are the deal killers. Now, what are the ones where you're kind of like, it's not great, but it's like I'm a little concerned about this. So, what would that be? That would
How
be
long has your divorce been going on?
okay.
Yeah, that would be one.
That'd be a red flag. So you're divorced, but you're not really divorced. Okay.
So when is the divorce happening?
Okay. So
Right?
you've heard
And
some
am I
stuff.
wrong though?
If there's a divorce going on, it's a red flag, no?
Well, you could be in the process of a divorce, but when does it get finalized?
No.
Is it going to go on for 10 years?
Oh, that's
That's what I.
How many dates before
No, I have to know, like, on the first date what's going on.
I just jumped right into that, didn't I? I'm so sorry. Is this that kind of show? Are we good with that? Should
I don't know what kind of show it is.
Yeah, okay. I mean, no, but that's what, like, you're like, how does it work? You know, I've been, you know, there's, listen, I'm in a unique situation we won't get into as far as that goes, but I'm not ready to get into it. But it's been a minute for me. So these days, like, are people expecting to hook up on the first date kind of thing?
No, I don't.
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. I think there are people that are, and I think that there are people that aren't. I mean, I've been in both situations.
Okay, great. When I say I'm in a unique situation, I'm not in an open marriage. Like, that's not.
No. I didn't.
It's just
I
an
wasn't
in-between
assuming.
state sort of thing.
I understand. I've
Yeah,
been
yeah,
there.
yeah.
But I just like people that communicate really well.
Nice.
That's too much to ask.
No.
Okay.
And
That's
give me an example of somebody being not a good communicator. How
Okay.
what does that look like?
We're gonna meet up, and we're gonna set a date to meet, and you actually show up. Yeah, that would be great communication for me.
That's sort of beyond communication. That's like follow through. That's like
Yes,
I mean-
show up.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Well, some guys
Well,
don't show up.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Some guys call you and say, "I'm coming
Yes.
over," and they
Yes.
don't show up.
Yes.
You know, Maurice knows some people that he could send over to their house. Like, I'm just saying.
I'll send Majid over there.
Yeah. He's got some friends. You know, I mean, like,
That's rude, man.
That's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never said that.
Well, you know, they get intimidated or scared, or they make up some excuse in their head.
Oh God, really?
Right.
So you resort on being like sort of meeting somebody at a bar
Not a bar.
or a restaurant
Not really.
through friends.
Yes.
Through friends. Events.
Events through friends.
What do you mean by
occasions.
events? Like award shows? Like, I don't know.
She
what
goes
events?
to all kinds of stuff.
What?
I go to like a lot of entrepreneurial type of
Oh.
events, you know, that are like thousands of people are at. Like,
Oh,
I've met
okay.
some of my closest friends there.
Oh,
you know,
nice.
Where you get together with like wealth management type of events.
Okay.
Entrepreneurial events.
How
speaking
important
events.
is money to you?
Ooh.
Because you're
is.
like, you're
It
talking
is
about like
kinda.
entrepreneurial wealth
Oh,
management.
no.
Like,
All right. Well.
okay.
Wait, one
Mo,
thing.
Mo, you answer this
One
question.
thing, okay.
Okay.
When we go out to eat, okay, and we sit down at a restaurant that maybe isn't, like
Fancy.
fancy pantsy,
Yeah.
but the food's incredible. She's just not comfortable, and I don't like that.
No, listen. He's calling you out.
I don't care.
100%.
I don't care if the place is.
a hole in the wall.
If the food is great, I'm there. It doesn't matter to me. But no.
I like good food.
But oh yeah,
But you like, so you
I don't
like
know.
the finer things. Again, no judgments.
You're totally giving off the wrong
No.
impression. here.
But so you want to be taken to a nice place.
On a date, I don't know.
Yeah, of
I don't
course.
know.
Well, it's not too much to ask.
Maybe
That's
the
oh,
That's not too much.
Oh,
what
you're
I
gonna-
was
Wait a
asking though.
minute.
What I was asking is like how important is the money? Like is the
first
wealth?
rent. That's what I want to know.
No, come
Yeah.
on.
What?
That's
What? Yes.
Really?
Yes.
what did she say?
because I'm asked. This is what I'm asking because I heard like the wealth management
Mm-hmm.
things, and she's out trying to meeting guys at the entrepreneurial events. I don't know what that.
Why do I say that though, Maurice? Why do I say that?
She's looking for a guy. All she's looking for is a guy who can pay rent.
No. Can you pay your rent? I didn't say can you pay my rent.
Right.
I said can you pay
No,
your
of
rent?
course.
Because he knows a lot.
Oh, that situation.
I have helped people out.
She's been in a
A
situation.
serious situation.
And you're
And
just dating.
Hey,
Literally just
You know
dating.
what's funny? You know what's funny?
What's that?
oh, please.
I'm not saying
Okay,
anything.
you can't say names.
You both have a story that is so phenomenal
Oh shit.
that she has one too. That it's amazing that you can't talk about, which is fine. You're not going to.
Yeah.
But one point at State of Mind, you're both going to come in and talk about it.
Yeah, when I'm ready.
When you're ready, and when she's ready.
Yeah.
But it's amazing.
When was your story? How long ago was this? How long? So we're both talking about like traumatic like stuff.
Yes,
whatever, like,
yes.
Trauma bond right now.
Yeah. When did you go through your it's not fair to the
What
to the
year-
listeners
what
because
year is this? I don't
Yeah,
even know.
it is.
you know what I mean, because we can't talk about the details and that's not fun.
Also,
we
Yeah,
make-
but you know what? What I find because I've done so many, all these
Yeah.
interviews. It's all right to say you can't do it because we get a feeling that there's a lot going on,
yeah.
and that's enough to when you watch.
Yeah.
Now you're
Yeah, maybe it draws them in. Yeah, that's true. So you've been through a difficult kind of stretch, I'm assuming, in your life with a particular significant other at some point.
Right.
And
Right.
and the one that
A few of them, actually. I mean, I
But,
think
I
I picked 3
but
bad ones, yeah.
right.
Like in total in my life,
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not.
I'm
not
sorry.
Good, not good apples.
I'm sorry.
But the second one was the worst.
Oh, he was the third one.
Oh, the third one,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was the most traumatic for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's somebody you wouldn't expect.
yeah.
That
Jeez, that's the
Yeah,
truth.
it's-
What would like? I mean, what advice would you say? Let's just say there's somebody. Let's just I mean, let's just say there's somebody else out there that's been through a shocking, traumatic. For the listeners and viewers at home, what would you?
I want to see credit scores.
What would you say?
I
What
want
would
to
you
see credit
say?
scores. I'm just saying.
No.
I want to see credit scores. No, listen. Listen.
Credit scores. Oh, it was like that.
Listen. Let me see a credit score.
I don't get
Let
that.
me
What does
see
that
if you've
mean?
ever
Credit
filed.
score means like, basically how good's your.
You've managed your financial
Yeah.
part of
you
your
have a
life.
low credit score, it means like you haven't paid credit
Oh,
card
I see,
bills.
I see.
You didn't pay your mortgage, all
I
that.
see.
Did I bring everybody down with that last? Is everybody all right?
No.
You okay? Do you need a second?
I'm good. I'm
You
good.
sure?
Listen, I go to therapy every week.
Do you need like a shot?
No,
Okay.
maybe later.
Okay.
So yeah, you two were just getting into things, and the dating is what we were talking about.
But how does the dating work? I don't understand how dating really
You
works.
should be telling us.
I know, but I'm not. What do you mean? I'm not a pro.
Well, you've had some experience.
Yeah, but I just.
I don't mean that
I don't
like
know,
you're not-
like ethics wise. Like, do you tell them you're dating somebody else, or you're actively dating?
Well, that's
Like-
a good question. So here's the deal. Here's
are
the
you
deal.
seeing other people? Yeah, tell me how that works.
No, well, I'm
Well, what do you think?
What I want to ask you is that what's the protocol
Right.
with respect to when you're date? Like I said, I know back in the day,
Right.
and I mean
Right.
this sincerely.
Yes.
Like I was a big player. I would have been a red flag for you. Let's say whatever. You know what I mean? I would
Why
have been a
would
red
you have
flag,
been
and
a
I
red-
really regretted it. Like I went through some, and it wasn't true to who I was, whatever. But I made like big changes in my life, and I was very devoted, very loving husband for decades, and proud of the. But the point is back then, it was like a secrecy. It was like I wasn't necessarily telling one person one thing and then telling somebody else the other thing, but. It didn't feel right. Like I knew it was wrong. I knew I had to keep secrets and hide it. But when you're dating, I mean, you're allowed to be talking and seeing other. Like I don't know. Are you? Is that how
I don't
it goes?
know. I'm confused about that. I don't know ethically what it is because until you were saying until they ask you to be their girlfriend or be
Yeah.
serious.
You're
I guess
dating
that's
until
the way
the-
it is, right? 'Cause
I'm dating-
I don't know what they're doing. I have no idea.
I'm dating
Right.
until I say to you, "Hey, you want to be my girlfriend?"
Right.
That's you're dating.
Right.
Like, are we exclusive?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Are we like? Are we going to take? You know what I mean? And then that's when you get off the apps, the dating
I'm
apps.
not on an app.
No, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Maybe they
Is that
got
when
it
you
on
stop?
the
Like,
app.
you,
I've
then,
never used
then
that.
you text the
Right.
other people and you say,
Right.
"Listen, it's been really fun, but I've made a commitment to somebody."
Right. That sounds smart.
Yeah.
I like that approach.
Okay, so let's go with that.
Okay.
But I
Let's
believe
go with
that I believe
Let's lock that in.
I believe apps have not. I think back in the day was a better way of dating than these apps and all this Tinder.
Why?
and-
Because you meet in person, right?
Yeah, man. You meet somebody like you're supposed to meet. You meet them at the
Right.
mall. I met someone at the mall, and
I
I've been.
know, but you're a rarity. I mean, that's like
No, but-
one in a million.
Well, hold on.
But it's in it. Yeah.
I met my wife at the mall, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I met other girls I dated at the mall because it's the way you do it. You do it's as a man you go or
That's sweet.
you go up to the girl and you're like, "Hi, do you want
Well, what happened to those days?
That's
now
sweet.
you got all this stuff."
What did you say? How did you like
I
how's
was-
that? So where's Paula? What was she doing? She was
Paula,
shopping?
I walked in a merry-go-round
She was working.
and she's dancing.
What?
We are family.
Really? She's dancing
with her boss and then other 3 girls and dancing.
It's a fun store.
And
at the mall.
Yeah, at the mall, merry-go-round. So I said, "Hey, how you doing?" And she had big eyes. I thought she was cute. And I said, my name's Maurice. Hi.
That's what you said. My name's Maurice. That's nice.
Maurice. And she didn't, she's like, oh, okay. And then I said, hey, you want to go out?
You did?
Yeah. And she goes, yeah.
Nice.
Imagine that.
I said, all right. But I stood her up. Then after...
he was so shocked. He was so shocked that they don't show up on a date. And meanwhile, he did the same thing.
No, but the reason is because 16... Cameron, 16 is just too young for me at that point.
Wait. Who was 16?
Paula.
How old were you, bruh?
21.
Yeah, she was too young. Wait, we gotta be careful what we say on. Yeah. Okay, so 2 years later, you went on a date with her.
So then I went into a mental institution, got out of the mental institution.
Okay.
About a year later.
Okay.
I saw her again at the same mall.
Okay.
Asked her out. She's 17. We double dated with my buddy, who was later murdered, was killed, and then.
There's a lot of ups and downs in this.
There's
story. There's a lot of highs and lows in this story.
But I just told the story when she was on State of Mind. I said, what happened was when I kissed her goodbye, it was so good.
Where did you take her? What was that first date?
No, I took her back to my mom and dad's house.
Oh, shit.
And we're making out on the couch and stuff. But making out was just what it was. My buddy was with her friend. But as soon as when she left and I kissed her, there was just something.
I see. That's nice.
But I didn't. It's a long story, but I didn't fall in love with her there. But I just felt like, right.
Okay,
and then that's it. We've been together ever since.
Well, that's a long time.
Yeah.
So first of all, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Especially in this business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For people at home. Being in this business and being in a relationship, it's like dog years. You multiply by 7. Like, so however long you've been married, you got it's amazing. Like, it just basically is so much harder.
But those were the days where
you met in person.
Listen. I'm not gonna lie to you. If I had a phone with all this stuff
options
back then, it would not have been healthy for me.
Here's the deal about the apps. And I got to sort of be careful how I say this, but one of the things that stands out for me about the apps, from what I understand, is that you could meet your person, but there's like 10 other people that you're connecting with, and it's like you're constantly getting hits from other people. So you might have found like. Like back in the day, that person you'd be hanging out with, and that would be your person, and whatever. Maybe you'd meet somebody in a bar, you'd be tempted, whatever. But on the app, it's just coming. It's just nonstop. It's nonstop. Like so, it's creating like I don't know. I shouldn't. By the way, but it's also just creating like sort of that ADHD kind of mindset of going from one to another to another to another to another to another to another, like nonstop. And getting almost this sort of dopamine hit from it all. Yeah. I wonder. I should say I wonder if it is. Well, I can't really speak.
I viewed it. Chad Duell lived with me for 3 weeks.
Yeah. And he
slept in the bed next to me.
And Chad did?
Yeah. And that dude
was on it all the time.
Like this.
No.
And he'd go, what about that? What about I said, Chad, listen, brother. You got to stop that. You got to either pick one or this is ridiculous that you're showing me 30 girls. I can't do it.
That's what I mean. Like, imagine that. Like, how do you actually connect with anybody?
I don't know.
No wonder you got off them. Which ones were you on?
Oh, my God.
She was on every one.
No, I wasn't.
You were on Hinge?
No, I was on Hinge.
You were on Tinder.
I was on Tinder.
So Tinder's the hookup one, isn't it?
I know, but for like 2 minutes.
What's the celebrity one?
Oh, my God,
did you have a one-night stand on Tinder?
Never.
Okay, good for you. Is that okay?
Never had a one night stand.
Never?
No.
Me neither.
Liar. He's a liar. And you're a liar too.
No, I mean, I already outed myself. I had a long phase of kind of that lifestyle, and it didn't feel good, and I made changes. It wasn't me.
Right.
Yeah.
I get it. That's
but
okay. Listen, we all have our trials and tribulations.
There's a celebrity one. Raya, is that what it is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm the champion.
Why are you going to go on that one?
I can't wait to go check it out. Raya. I think
you can't check it out. You gotta join it.
I know, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You can't just be like, hey, I'm gonna check out who's on this.
I know.
Well, you
It's
could
like-
use somebody else's to check it out.
Oh,
if
I
you
guess so,
wanted.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Oh, you
use
can?
Chad's.
Yeah, you could use.
Too late for Chad's locked and loaded, man. Good for him. Happy for him.
Chad, poor
But
Chad.
he's not married.
Poor Chad.
No, but he's got a baby, man.
What do you mean he's got this? What do you mean? Why would you say it like that?
I'm sorry.
He's got a baby and he's in love with a woman. They're not
He
married.
was in love. What do I know?
No, but he's
Listen,
pretty tied
I know
down
a lot
now.
of women that have
Yeah.
trapped men, so that's all I have
I'm
to
happy
say.
for him.
Yeah, but why do you
Poor
say
Chad.
like
What?
Chad,
That took a turn.
he's tied
How did we
down
get
though.
there?
I don't
Tied
know
down?
what his situation is.
What the hell? Coming from a guy who's been with the same woman since he was like 22. What do you mean tied down? He's found a person he's had a baby with, and he's
I hope
like,
it works out.
what in the world? You're supposed
Why
to
are they married then?
I think it's all happened really. I think okay. I think what Maurice is
See?
alluding to is it happened very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's sort of the idea. So I don't even think they necessarily
Well,
yeah.
knew Chad before Chad got cast on
You did?
General Hospital. Yes, I did.
How'd you know him?
Because he was engaged to my friend. They came
Wow.
out to California together from Arizona.
Oh, wow.
And I love Chad. I think he's a sweet
Chad's a sweet.
Oh my
sweetheart.
God, he's
Yeah,
like a
he's a
huge
sweetheart.
golden
But so
retriever.
was my
Yeah,
friend,
he's
a
the
sweetheart.
best.
But they
Yeah.
were like high school sweethearts and stuff, so that's why it didn't work out.
Oh, well, it worked out for Mo. That's impressive. Yeah,
Yeah, I guess so.
that's nice.
Well,
I mean, I met my wife.
There's only one Paula, so
Maybe
got to put up with him.
I'm supposed to talk about how I remember. Just leave it alone.
Oh boy,
Let's leave that story out.
Oh man, I can't.
where
do
did
this
we almost
anymore.
just go? To hell and back?
No.
No, I was just talking about meeting people. I mean, I'll also say this. I've only ever met people, in my life, like obviously in person. There was no.
Well, that's why
never-
I'm saying we're like all around the same age. It's like
No, exactly,
normal.
exactly, of course.
The apps are not.
And
normal.
by the way, I think it's amazing when you hear story. I know people that have gotten married and they're in love and they met on an app, and that's incredible. Like the goal of being on an app is to get off the app. You know what I mean? To meet somebody and not be on it forever. I mean, unless you're a dude or a woman just trying to have sex with a
I
bunch
love the angry guys, the ones that ask you out and ask you out and ask you out, and then they curse you out.
No.
I've had those.
So they ask you out and you say, you know what? You're just not my thing.
I don't say you're not my thing. I just say no, thank you.
You say no, thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you.
You could probably soften that up a little bit. Like no, I'm just saying. Like if you know what I mean. Like if you let's try and soften that up a little bit. Should we? Let's try and come up with something other than no thank you. I mean, imagine if you got a no thank you, because that could be So why don't we go? Why don't we go with something like I'm not really in that place right now, or it's
No, because then they call you back 3 months later.
oh. Okay.
They call you back 3 months later. Are you ready now?
Oh, so you've tried that. So, I mean, maybe no thank you is the way to go. I'm too Canadian. Like I'm very, very, very Canadian.
Very proud.
No gracias.
No, you could try that. Just try it in a different language.
No bueno.
Try it in a different language. Try it in Spanish.
No bueno. It's no good. It's just not going to happen. Because right away.
Can't you say
right?
I'm sorry? No, thank you.
I'm sorry?
But how do you know? Because you
What do
said
you
there's
mean
no
how do
energy.
you
Because
know?
you mean in person?
In person.
Oh,
No,
okay.
no. In person. And
So they're like, let's go out tomorrow night.
right. No, thank you.
Yeah, it sounds kind of.
I'm not really dating right now.
That's
Well, why not? Are you going to be dating in 3 months from now? Yeah. They're persistent.
I'm not really dating anybody like you right now or ever. Try that.
I don't.
Well,
See how that
there's
goes.
a story. Wait. There's a story. I was going on the date with that young guy, right?
Right.
I can't believe I'm even talking about this. And there was another guy that saw me at the valet, and he came up to me and he said, "Can I have your number?" And I said,
You're a hook 'em on.
"No."
You said.
So not. I said,
guys are
I
going
said,
at
I'm not really dating right now. He goes, "Well, where are you going now?" I said,
Yeah, well played. You know what I mean? You didn't think that through. Anna, we got to.
I didn't.
You didn't. That was not.
I did not think it through. So he takes my phone and puts his number in my, and then
Wow,
calls
this
his
guy's
phone.
confident.
Right.
This guy's confident.
Yes.
Do you like that?
No, I like confidence, but that's aggressive.
That's
There's
aggressive.
different.
That's aggressive.
I was a little afraid at that point.
Yeah. How did he get your phone? Took it
It
out
was
of
in
your
my
hand?
hand. Yeah.
He took it out of your
Yes,
hand?
Yes. And he said, "What's your code?" I was like, "I think you should give me the phone back." And he's like, No, I'm going to put my number in here and blah, blah, blah. And then he calls his phone to make sure that like our numbers connect. And then he started.
And he has your code to your phone now.
I guess he did.
So he's
right.
probably calling in, stealing money from your bank account somehow. I don't know how.
Listen.
But I mean.
That's happened too. Listen, wait. So then he calls me the next day and says, listen, I followed you on your date. I swear to God, it was at the Grove.
This is more than a red flag. This is a red.
Wait, I followed you on the date, and I don't think that guy is for you. I'm better than him. I said, well, okay, that's nice, but I'm not going to be dating. Thank you very much. I block him. New Year's Eve, I go to Mastro's with my brother, right? And my brother, hello. My brother says, you're not going to go alone. I said, I'm going out for New Year's Eve, whether I'm going by myself or you're coming, because his fiance was at home and other stuff was happening. But so he came with me. The fucking guy was there.
Oh, man.
Bleep that out, please. The guy was there, saw me going down the staircase.
What?
He was coming up and he goes, you blocked
me.
Unblock me now. I was terrified. So he
was your brother there?
My brother was in the dining room area, right? So he goes, give me your Instagram. And he was going through my phone. Give me your Instagram, and he started calling me. And then he takes a ring off and puts it on my hand and says, I want you to have this. I said, I don't want your jewelry. Please, take your jewelry back. And
you got some stories.
I got a lot of stories. So I go back to my brother, and he comes and beelines me straight to my brother, introduces himself, and says, I want to be with your sister. She won't date me, blah, 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 blah. Went on and on and on.
What was your brother's take on this guy?
My brother was...
You know what I'm saying?
Stunned.
Like he was like, it wasn't romantic, it was aggressive.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And my brother has some health issues, so he wasn't going to get physical with anybody or anything like that. He was like, be really careful. Basically, that was it. But he continued to call me until I blocked him again. And, it's weird with rejection, right? People pursue you. And I didn't lead him on from the beginning. I just said, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
Basically.
What was the dude who you were on a date with? We got to wrap this up. You're looking at me like I'm talking too much.
We're at 15 minutes, so it's up to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was the dude that you were on the date with when he came at the valet? What was he doing? He was like, bro.
No, he was meeting me at the
Oh,
restaurant.
I see.
That guy was funny, man.
Yeah. That was the one that
He's like a little kid, man.
He was
All right.
sweet,
Well, I know we're
though.
long.
Yeah.
But thank you for having me on
no
the show,
problem.
guys.